Back in the 90s and 2000s, football was all about running backs. That's changed since then. The likes of Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, and Adrian Peterson are long gone. Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey may have been the last highly sought after running backs of this generation. Now, this is no knock on the running back position. Offenses have just changed, in scheme and in pace. The fullback position is completely gone. They're all now hybrid tight ends, because teams are not just dominating with a dangerous ground and pound run game. Now it's all about quarterback and wide receiver positions. And the growth of the wide receiver position couldn't be more noticeable with the 2022 NFL Draft. A record 6 wide receivers were selected in the first 18 picks on Thursday. But it didn't stop there. In just the first 2 rounds alone, there have been 13 wide receivers selected in the 2022 Draft. That ties the 2020 Draft for the most in NFL history. And while all these receivers were taken, A.J. Brown was moved from the Titans to the Eagles, and Hollywood Brown was moved from Baltimore to Arizona. That makes 2 marquee receivers on new teams, and Deebo Samuel from the Niners is probably next. That's not even including the Tyreek Hill move from Kansas City to Miami. And there are many more examples like it. All these guys want more money, and they're getting it elsewhere. Now, we've seen the growth in the quarterback position. No longer are guys supposed to stand tall in the pocket and only pick defenses apart with their arm. NFL teams want guys who can run and throw, and the people that they're throwing to has proven to be very important. You can win a Super Bowl just because of a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp is a prime example of that. So now the market for receivers has only grown over time, and the demand has only led to increased salaries. Receivers are making quarterback numbers, some even making $30 million a year. There are 5 guys making that much, and 8 others are making nearly $20 million and above. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I think all these guys are worth the money. I just want to point out the fact that the phenomenon that's happening is here, because honestly, I think it's interesting. It used to be just one wide receiver making over $20 million a year, maybe even 2 at a time. Now there are multiple. Who knows how much Megatron, Larry Fitzgerald, and Andre Johnson would have made in this market? Heck, forget them. Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, and Terrell Owens would have enough money to fly over all their destinations and fling out money on the way there. Listen, the average career expectancy for NFL players are 3 years, and running backs have nearly always been on the low end of that. Not because they didn't have talent, but because their body was too beat up to continue. Getting the ball nearly every play and running into 300-pound defensive linemen in games and in practice will do that to you. So teams give wide receivers the money. Rarely will a wide receiver get tackled by a defensive lineman. No, they're going against guys that are usually smaller than they are. The old way of playing football was dangerous and just bad business. Wide receivers are not only going against smaller guys, they can't even be hit without them looking at them. They're called a defenseless receiver if not. Their career expectancy has only risen, and it's done nothing but revolutionize the position. There are hundreds if not thousands of athletes aspiring to be a receiver, and for good reason. NFL teams carry around 6 wide receivers on a roster, just a few behind offensive linemen, which is the most on the offensive side. And with the growing number at the position, there are now many more good wide receivers in the NFL, and so there are also many more great receivers in the NFL. That, along with the growing salary cap, has sparked the wide receiver phenomenon, and they're ready to get paid, and teams are willing to do it. Thanks for watching this video. If you made it this far, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I have a podcast called Rip Jersey. Follow that, add it to your playlist, listen to it wherever you can. Thanks for watching again. Peace.